Hello everyone, I am going to be continuing some work on my debugger. Last time I was refactoring the debug action and debug interaction with processes, and I'm going to continue that, hopefully finishing off the implementation of, hitting the wrong keys here, implementation of the resume and single step instruction code, which is down here. And I was talking last time about how a lot of the code is duplicated, and I think the way I'm going to tackle that is to split the debug actions into two layers, where you have a master action and then you have a subaction. And that nesting will allow me to reuse the subactions between kind of the master actions. So I'm going to crack on and have a go at that. So I think the first thing I want to do is rename debug action here to debug action context. Then within that, I would like to have something called a debug action that I can make my master action. I might just call it action actually. And then I also want a debug subaction, like this. And I can define what those are. I'm going to put an underscore at the end of this because I've just renamed this one from that value, and I want to see all of the compile errors cleanly. And debug subaction here. And each of these is going to have a type. So I think I already have a debug action type here, and I want to reuse that because that's going to be my my main action. But I also want a subtype. And I think what I want here is one of them's going to be step over breakpoint. That much I know. I'm just going to leave it at just that one type for now because it's the one I know I'm going to need. So my subaction here, I'm going to need a union. Because if one of my things is that I need to step over a breakpoint, I need to know what that breakpoint is. And I think this means I can probably get rid of these things here. And these bits of information are going to get moved down into my debug action here. And this is no longer going to have a type. Okay. I'm not sure I need all of these panes now, so I'm going to get rid of those. I'll just work with debug action and the header file. In fact, I might just kind of move. Oops. Just make this one slightly wider. Okay. So in this code, I want to go in, and in my process I want to see if I've got any subactions to do. If I have, do the subaction until the subaction is complete, and then I'll just set it to none. So I need a none here. And when it's none, it's going to fall back to what the parent action, the main action is doing. So you can chain these, you can dispatch a sub-action, it will run through to completion, then it will fall back to the main action. So here I think I want to say note if we have a subject action to perform, do that in preference to the main action. So if debug action I might change this to action context. Maybe not. That's going to be a lot of renaming. I'm not sure. I'll probably just rename debug action to something else at some point. So if debug action subaction is not equal to debug subaction type none, then we're going to do that. Else we're going to do the other one. So we only have one thing that we know how to do here, and that is debug debug subaction type step. Typing, always the pain of my life. So in here, we want to grab this common code that we want to reuse between the two actions. Is the breakpoint finding code also common? It is. I wonder if we just want to copy that all up here. So let's grab that, stick it in here. So we'll get the executing address, check that it's valid, get a breakpoint at the current address. So we're assuming we're on a breakpoint and we want to step over it. I feel like we're going to have to check to see whether we're on a breakpoint before we invoke step over breakpoint. So maybe we just want to take this this code out actually. Oh, I didn't remove it. It's still there. Okay. So looking at how we would do this, we come here and we say if we've got a breakpoint, then we just want to do debug action subaction type equals debug subaction step over breakpoint subaction type. It just occurs to me now that by doing this, the actual subaction won't start until next frame. And I don't think I like that. I kind of want this to run directly afterwards. So I need to think about that in a minute, how we're going to get this dispatched straight away to the first part of the action. If there's no breakpoint, then we can just do a straight resume, and we're done. We can also set debug action Hey Mikhail. So I want to set this state that we're in to say that we've completed the subaction. Resume, it's just called resume. So that means when this finishes, it's going to move state straight away. Okay, that's fine. Resume, if we hit resume, then I think we just want to do this a little bit because this bit's going to be taken and done by this subaction, I think. So here we're going to have to go assert debug pull this out into a variable. That's, yeah. Save myself adding this on the front. Okay. So in here, we're going to go subaction. Oh, we've already got the subaction. Okay. Subaction. Maybe I don't want to name these things, maybe I just want to use an integer. Just increment it until it's done. I don't know. So up here, my step over state is going to be Breakpoint. Okay, oops. So what we're going to do here, I think, is have state here where we go. It's getting quite long. That's why I'm thinking maybe I just need a number here. So we need a state to say we want to resolve. We need a state which we start in, which is deresolve. Step. And this bit goes in here. So the thing about this is it's less elegant than just using the command key that I had before. There's a lot of kind of boilerplate here I'm not too keen on. But I'm going to continue with it because it's more flexible, and if I decide that actually I never use that flexibility, I'm going to roll it back into a command key just for this bit. Boop! Says Mikhail. So here I want to do the resolving part, which is this bit here. We don't have no bots on this channel. I don't know why we have no bots on this channel. They're welcome, should they want to come. So I think I'm just going to pull this out up here and say we will always need this breakpoint. I think we always can assert that as well. Here we're going to do Subaction step over state. Oh, we don't care about the step over state actually. We can just change the type here to be done. Debug action, Subaction type done. So we've completed our Subaction. And we should drop back to the main action. Okay. I think that looks fine for the subaction. Now let's go fix up these main actions. Fine, right breakpoint's fine, none is fine. So now in resume state, I think we just want to do this bit here. Get a feeling I might not need this this kind of resume state thing anymore. So I get the current address and I find a breakpoint on there. If there is a breakpoint, I need to go and step over it. Otherwise, I could do the resume, right? How is life going? Life is going fine, thank you. I've been painting today. I was painting yesterday as well. Had white all over my hands. I still had a little bit of white on my hands. It's gloss paint in our kitchen. Not much fun. But it has to be done. Because we've had our kitchen refurbished recently, which is very nice. What was I doing? I need to now set up a sub-action, so I need to do debug action, sub-action type equals debug sub-action type none. No, step over breakpoint. Okay. Right, then I can get rid of all of this. Which makes me kind of happy. And then for this one, I think we've got a similar deal. It's a very similar thing. So we either do this step over breakpoint, or we just do a simple step over. Let's get rid of all this. And this result is going to be the same, I think. Right, so that's good. This none, I don't think needs to be in this case anymore. So now we've got spawn process, write breakpoint, resume, and symbol step instruction. They all kind of neat, so I'm happy with that. So we've still got a little bit of infrastructure to add here. So firstly, debug action. We don't need resume state. We don't need resume breakpoint anymore. And actually we don't need any of this. Right. But in subaction, we need some states, I think. So we need a step over breakpoint state, step over state. I'm going to call it step over state. Okay. think I'm going to change these slightly. To this. Yeah. Is my platform layer well separated? Well, it doesn't really need to be, but it kind of yes and no. There's the starts of it, but it's leaking a little bit. The main thing that I separate is the reload part. So there's kind of platform specific stuff right at the reload layer, and the reload layer is mainly it's not where all of the platform code is. Some of the platform code is not in the reload layer because I want to be able to reload some of the platform code, so it's actually in the level above the reload layer, hot reloading. So only the reloadable parts are dynamically separated. The rest is compile time separated, so you'd compile for a particular platform. And yeah, that's separated somewhat, but as I said, the boundaries are not particularly strong. There's a lot of stuff to rewrite for Windows at the moment. Most of it is Linux specific. Like the bulk of the work with the debugger so far has been around interacting with processes and that sort of thing. So there's not really a lot to reuse. You could reuse the rendering DUI, but that's about it. Maybe the disassembler if you're on x86, but the rest of it is all platform specific because it's a low-level debug implementation. It's all talking about ptrace and the format of binary files as a lot of code. More than 50% of the code, I would say, is related to that. Not even the DWARF parser. What do you mean, not even the DWARF parser? I don't understand the question. Yeah, you could reuse the DWARF debug information stuff if you were compiling under the new Linux compatibility layer, I guess. I'm not sure about any of the other Linux, Unix emulation things and what they actually spit out. But mostly on Windows you'll be running Windows executables. So I think it's pretty limited since the Linux layer is pretty new anyway, but yeah, in theory it would work. GCC and Clang still output DWARF on Windows. Okay, I haven't looked. I'm not sure how that works. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. See, my assumption was that if you weren't running GCC under the compatibility layer, that it would actually output a Windows executable. Maybe that's not correct. So I'm just going through solving all of these changes, get rid of these references to states that don't exist anymore. Oh, we're nearly done. Oh. No. Got a missing brace here. There we go. Let's see, is that enough? Apologies. It seems that is enough to make it compile. Two breakpoints in now, and I'll add a breakpoint during the running as well. So start the process, flip into memory view, hit continue, and we get a simple regime. That's good. I'll do a step over, see what happens. Ah, here we go. Breakpoint not set. I think I just forgot to set the breakpoint maybe. Let's see. When we do this action, we set to step over breakpoint, but we also need to set debug action, subaction, breakpoint equals breakpoint. Likewise on here. Try again. Same test. Continue, hit next. Oh, I think it's got stuck. Why has it got stuck? So it's going into this code. And it's doing what? Probably left this running for a little bit too long, so I'm going to scroll up a ways. Quite a ways. Wow. There we go. Let me see. This is a simple resume. I'm not seeing it say that it's de-resolving the breakpoint. Oh, I haven't got a message here to say that it's done it. It should have done. Okay. Does the single step. Then what happens? That just keeps going. Well, that's just like obviously wrong. It was just sending it back to the same state again. That's just dumb. How did they manage to do that? I have no idea. I'm just going to put the debugger just in case. Restart that way. Okay, so let's add breakpoint here. Breakpoint here. Well, adding breakpoints dynamically seems to work. Let's hit next and see what happens. Okay, it seems to have stepped over. Although maybe it stepped over a bit too far. So that worked. That crashed. Something is awry here. Something's amiss. Is there any kind of stupid bug in here? I feel like the step over state is not being initialized correctly. Yeah, it's not. I'm not super loving the amount of initialization that needs to happen here. Particularly just the step over state. It feels like I shouldn't be initializing that myself. I shouldn't have to care about doing that here. Maybe I should instead have a function to do that. Check this. That definitely stepped twice. Once. That stepped twice as well. Set of a breakpoint here. See what happens if we step over this. Okay, well it seems to work, it's just we've got a curious case of stepping twice. Oh, okay, so for this one, yeah. I'm not sure, I can see why the single step instruction was not doing it, but it looked like it was doing something weird on the resume as well. So for single step instruction, because we got rid of the state advance, it just says if we're on a breakpoint, then step over it using this subaction. But if we're not on a breakpoint, then single step. Okay, that's fine. But what doesn't happen is we don't drop out of here and set this debug action type to none after this comes back. So we just do a second single step when we already stepped over. So we kind of need to know that we dispatched this subaction somehow. So we do get back into the single step back instruction when this one's completed. This one's also wrong. Because it will step over, and then if there was another breakpoint there, it would step over again. It would just step over all the breakpoints that were consecutive, then it would do a resume. And that's not exactly what it needs to do either. It's a bit counterintuitive. So this else case needs to run only in the first situation. I was trying to be clever and not have extra states in here. I don't really want to add those states back in, they're really messy. Right, definitely needed to do in here. What's the time? I'm going to have some more of a thought about this, I think, and come back to it another day. I'm going to call this one a short stream, because I have work tomorrow and need to think about this some more. This was one of the ideas that came to me, having this different nestings of actions. But I'm beginning to think that I need a queue again, like I had before, but this time with at least one level of that's the kind of state regime I can use. Get you off of Windows. Good luck using this debugger right now. All the stuff that was working before still isn't working properly again with this new layout. Right, I just need to think about this some more. Right, to-dos. In front of this if statement I need to do. This is not correct. If there are two breakpoints in a row, it will step over both of them. And all of them, in fact. Actually, there's more than one breakpoint in a row. It'll step over all of them before continuing. It should just stop at a second breakpoint. That's one thing. I put a little bit more of a note in there to remind myself. This is because we don't keep track of whether or not the subaction has already run. There's another to do here actually as well, I need to kind of remember. Subaction does not run immediately, even though it could do the first async run this action right away. We'll wait a frame. The check and subaction code is above here. It says. So I'm going to grab that as well here. That one, second one totally applies here as well. But the first one applies, but it's slightly different in nature. And that is, this is not correct. When stepping over a breakpoint, it steps twice. In fact, we'll also step over any number of consecutive breakpoints as well. Step once more for luck. So those are the bugs to fix next time, and maybe it will be another go at a different way of doing this again. This one, I don't know, this one doesn't look super convincing to me at the moment. Anyway, thanks for coming and joining me for a quick Linux debugger stream. More things to do next time. And yeah, carry on coding, have fun, and I'll see you again later. Bye.